going to kind of be giving to other players and being helpful. And I'm going to try to do it on stream. I do have to leave the party I'm in though, because of the fact that if I'm gonna be doing that, I can't be in a party. I gotta be able to have them hear me, which also means I probably won't be always directing chat to you stream, which I will go and kind of conversate with, and if they get annoyed by it, whatever. If you guys are commenting, I will reply back to you guys. But I'm gonna be more focused on chatting with the people I'm connecting to see if they want to do what I'm about to try to have them do. Um, Man, if you guys actually today would probably I'm gonna try to do it with randoms, but if you guys want it and you're in stream, all you have to do is drop me your PSN and I'll be able to add you guys on PlayStation, help you get the gear, and then I will be unadding you unless I feel like we're good friends. Like if I feel like, we would be good friends, maybe play Resident Evil 5, maybe Call of Duty, or something in the future, and we'd have fun and, make some good content, then more likely I'd probably keep you on my friends list. But someone that I'm just helping is more likely just going to get deleted off the friends list. So I can keep my friends list kind of short and not like 500 friends would be kind of nice. So let's see. We're gonna do join game and see if anybody at this time of morning for me is actually wanting. Damn. That yawn was like, bro, go get some coffee. You need that coffee. Alright. To see if we have anybody that might be willing or wanting to do that. But there's something I would love to be able to afford that concurrently with what I make, with my bills that I have, and being able to maybe buy something here and there. And I'm saying maybe because that maybe is kind of going out the window a little bit. Because one of my cousin's friends is having to give up their pet. And instead of seeing said pet go to a pound or an animal facility that might put them down if they don't get adopted or whatever, they asked if I would take the animal, and I said yes. And that's just because of the fact, like, a loving, caring home is better than sending it somewhere where it's going to be locked in, like, maybe a 5x5 cell that has it's chain link fence with other dogs that's constantly barking and creating higher anxiety to a dog that already has anxiety is not a good fit, especially if they need to try to get the dog adopted so they don't have to go through the process of getting the animal put down, right? So I'm kind of taking on something that I barely can afford myself. So there is something I would like to get my hands on, which would help with like Resident Evil 5, Borderlands 3, possibly the new Borderlands coming out, and so much more. And it's a one-time purchase thing, but I just can't afford it right now. So if you guys want to help me afford it, you guys can go do that, which, by the way, is something that lets me basically have more gear for you guys that I can give out that is cool and / like I can sit down and kind of take a look at things. But again, it is a one-time purchase that I have to have in order to have that stuff. Hold on, how much was it again? Because I sent it to this. It is basically a $50 purchase. But I get it for a lifetime, which is great. So, free updates for 2 years from activation, blah, blah. Yeah, alright. So, it's actually going to be something that would be very, very helpful for games like Borderlands 3, Resident Evil 5, future Borderlands games that go on save files and not in online storage, and stuff like that. Like, pretty much what it allows me to do is modify my saves, so I'm able to create modified gear, because there's actually some things I would like to get my hands on, right? Because I know they're out there, I just haven't seen anyone with it, or the people that have it just have never logged back on, and plus I don't have a second controller. And I mean, I probably could afford a second controller doing it this way, but then I would have to try to mistakenly find somebody that has it instead of just give myself the gear, and then be able to hand it out. Which, by the way, is going to be more gear like this right here, okay? Where I can put the capacity in, the reload speed, the firepower, all of that. But I would be able to do my grenades with like 30,619 grenades. So I don't have to worry about having only 400 or 200 and yada yada. While also being able to modify something like the Hydra to have 32,000 ammunition. So it's infinite ammo no matter what. Same with the M93R handgun. The same with the SIG 556. Maybe the S75 rifle. I'd definitely do an L-Hawk for one of them. I'm trying to think. I'd probably also do an M3SG. And a jailbreaker. Actually, to be honest, I would love to have a modified weapon of every gun in the game to be a 32,767 in the ammo capacity, with everything being fully maxed. So I could take the guns that are fully maxed, right? Which are already maxed, because I went in here and, to show you, upgraded them. Because I've done that, I would love to be able to go in through a game save editor that can edit my saves and be able to take the capacity here and set it to like 32,767 or however this weapon here is, which is the Samurai Edge, on ammo capacity. And then from there be able to do that for every one of my weapons in my inventory and have modified versions. The only ones I would skip over is like the AK, because I already have the AK. Actually, technically, I probably would take this AK and modify it and go ahead and get rid of the already modified one, because I don't know how well this is. So 250 and 255. Hold on. Okay, 250, 255. Yeah, okay. So I would get rid of this, because I already have it. So I'd be able to come into here and hit sell and get rid of it. But I would love to have something like that for both every weapon in this game. That way, no matter like what I'm playing or who I'm playing with, if I play solo, I could throw the AK on to Sheva, and then I could take the SIG 556 and put it onto me. The only thing I would duplicate is probably the rocket launcher instead of the grenade launcher, so that way I can actually have the rocket on me and Sheva at the same time. That's probably the only thing I would duplicate in my inventories. But I would keep the grenade launcher so I could have it, but I would like to modify every weapon, which, yes, would be slower when I'm doing my drops for you guys, unless you guys only wanted specific weapons, because then I would have to go through and go like, okay, the Molotov, the M92F, the H&K P8, the SIG P226, the M93R, and so on, which I would have to go through and do every gun. And I don't even have every gun yet that is mod, for the fact of you can get the flamethrower, which is one of the guns I said I want to have. It's someone, I'd have to find someone with it and have the second controller, or do the $50 freaking thing that I get for a lifetime, and then be able to just give myself the flamethrower would be awesome to have. But yeah, this is every gun in the game, alongside, you know, proximity alarms, the different ammo types of the grenade launcher, the first aid sprays, and the bulletproof vest and stuff. But I would love to be able to modify like the grenade here to being this, right, with the ammo type. I would love to be able to take a... That's for each grenade. Everything for every gun. I don't know how this does, though, sadly. I don't know if this is... Because you can see it says 0 capacity, so that's probably why it's infinite, which is weird. But I would probably change this to being from a 0 to maybe a 32,767 capacity version of it. Would be awesome to have. But dude, there's like so much stuff. I was looking at like the files that, you know, you could possibly get for that, for, you know, the different weapons and modded gear. There's like Wesker's knife. There is like another version of the Samurai Edge that goes to a different character. So the one here I think is the Wesker one from the Lost in Nightmares. But there's actually a Samurai Edge that is... Whose is it? It's Josh's, I believe. It's like Josh's Samurai Edge, which is another version of the Samurai Edge. There is Josh's knife. There is Jill's knife. So there's a whole lot of different other weapons that's in the game you could possibly bring over to this that I could give everyone else. I would love to get my hands on the game save editor just for that. Which again is not only for Resident Evil 5, but it would also be for Borderlands 3. Maybe I could look at uploading my PS4 saves and doing some PS4 weapons, because I wouldn't be able to do the 5 versions for the DLCs, but I would be able to do the 4s, which would be kind of fun to have. Maybe even the DLC versions of that, but I think once you upload and you go through the PS5 version, downloading your game save that way by transfer from 4 to 5, it might change what is actually on the weapons, because I believe that's how Borderlands 2 was, or so forth, or I heard it about that's how Borderlands 3 does it. I don't remember where, I just remembered if you uploaded it from this to another, modified weapons would change to a different way. Hold on, guys. Sorry about that, stream. My cousin decided to video call me and kind of let me see the dog I'm actually going to be receiving pretty much today whenever he gets back home, because he's going to be the one bringing her from his friend's house. Alright, let's see. 32,767, yeah, like that for every gun. We were going over Borderlands. Oh yeah, the saves. Which is what's called the save import, which is going from like importing from the PS4 version to the PS5 will break your weapons. So it would have to be like I drop it from a PS4 version to a person on PS5, and then I would be able to drop it that way to you guys, which means I would have to get one of my friends who plays the PS5 version to join my lobby, pick up my gear, leave with it, me close the game, launch the PS5 version, and then join his game, get all the gear back, upload to the PlayStation save, and then redrop it to him, then re-download the PlayStation save to get the gear back for myself. That would be the way I would have to go about it. But then I would be only able to change the PS4 versions of weapons and not the 5 version of it. But yeah, it'd be like that. I don't think the new Borderlands I would be able to do it too, because you would have to have the PC version, and my PC wouldn't be able to run the new Borderlands. It just won't. The reason I know that is because I've tried downloading DayZ back to my old computer, because yes, I'm calling it old. It's a dinosaur now. It's like freaking, I want to say 13 years old. I need a new computer, but pretty much I tried downloading DayZ to it and launching it because I wanted to modify my maps on DayZ for the console versions, so I can have my own custom maps and shit like you see in DayZ with people doing on console. No. I go to load up the DayZ editor, which pretty much is part of DayZ itself. You just right click on the application in Steam and switch over to the editor. And I tried launching it. No, it don't launch. Sorry, you need a better PC is what it basically tells me, and then won't ever let me actually launch it. So yeah, it's oof. So I need a different PC for that, because I would have to be able to get Borderlands or whatever game I'm trying to do that with to get modified gear to drop to people. I would have to get the PC version and have a PC to run that, and I'm not going to ask you guys to help comp. Too much money. I'm just not. That's too much to ask for, and I would not ask you guys for the fact of a good PC is around 4,500 to 5,000. Okay, that's 4,500 to 5,000, right? In order just to be able to stream and do everything. Yeah, it's too much to ask for. I'm not going to do that, because on top of that 4,500 to 5,000, right, you would also be looking at buying the game, purchasing the game save editor, which by the way is 50. That's another 50. That's about 100. So we'll say if it was 5,000, now we're looking at 5,100. I'm trying to think, because then you have to get the updates for the game save. By the way, I only get 2 years free, which means after that 2 years I'd probably have to pay in order to get the update again, which by the way is only going to be like a month to maybe 2 years again. I have no clue. But once I do that, it would be, I don't know how much, but it would be that, where if I'm doing it for long periods of time, you guys can see where that really kind of gets in. I'm not going to ask you guys for something like that. I'm just not. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it myself. I'm not a Dota, okay? I'm not going to be like, hey fans, I want a brand new PC. Will you help me buy one for $5,000? Will you donate enough to get a PC? I'm not a Dota, okay? I'm not going to try to steal from you guys that way, or at all. I will try to build up my own funds and go grab me a PC. I will try to moderate my bills better in order to save up to go get what I want. I'm not going to ask my fans for that. Same as like, I'm asking if you guys want to help, you can, but you don't have to with a game save editor. for at least the PS4 versions, which is only $50 to $60 compared to $5,000, right? Sorry, Dota, but bro, you can't be a king if you're going to literally ask people to pay for your bills. I'm not asking, I'm just letting you guys know you can help, for the game save editor, but you don't have to. All I ask is you guys to, one, stop by and say hi every now and then in comments, pop into streams, check out the uploads that I do, subscribe to my channel. That's all I want you guys to do. Support me by just being here. Okay, because on top of that, yes, it'll grow my channel, which later will help me get funded a little bit, be able to get sponsorships to where not only can I have a face cam, but where I can actually do the sponsorships in order to have sponsors pay for me to do their sponsorships, which would be great to have. But all I'm asking for you guys is just the views, the likes, and the subs. Right? That's the only 3 things I will ever ask of you guys to do, is to please view, like, and sub. I'm not going to ask you guys to donate. That's up to you guys if you want to, but I'm not going to ask you guys to do it because I don't want you guys to feel like you have to financially support me. That's something you guys should not have to feel like you got to do. That's something you guys should always just want to do whenever you guys want to do it. Because it's not cool for content creators to be like, go donate, man. Like, bro, you only donated $1? Like, what the fuck, you broke bitch? Like, dude, that shit's fucking stupid, okay? Don't fall into creators that do that. The only thing your creator, as a good creator, should ever ask you guys for is views, likes, subs. As long as you keep that count high, I can make it on YouTube. I can almost go anywhere. Because on top of being able to get, watch time and hours to get my ads, so that way I can get ad revenue, on top of being able to do, which I miss something that creators were able to do, which I've never done, but I wish I had the chance to fill. That way I can feel more in depth with the viewer, because before, you could edit the ads you got onto your video. Like, you could choose, like, if you want the 30-second ads or the 10-second ads or whatever. Now YouTube has removed that right from creators, so it's random ads. So it's any ad that YouTube wants to play, or how many in that one duration you gotta watch, which is now like you have 2 ads back to back. You can skip the first ad at 30 seconds in, and then now you can skip the next one after 5 seconds to actually get to the video you're watching. Right, is something that YouTube does, and creators don't have rights to edit that. So I don't like that. I wish I could choose the amount of ads, yes, but not in one duration period. Forcing 2 ads in one ad spot is wrong. Being able to maybe have 3 ads in a video, so I put 1 in the beginning, 1 halfway through, and then 1 at the very end, would be a better way of doing that, because then, like, if they want to skip, they can, but they're not having to be forced to sit there and watch something for 20 seconds that almost no one wants to see unless it's something they directly need. So again, being able to put 1 ad in the front, 1 ad in the middle, 1 ad at the very end is good. And if that's too many for my viewers, then I would probably do 1 we'll say 1 in the middle, and then 1 at the end of the video. So that way, it's still 2 ads, I still get the revenue, but you guys at least would get, like, I don't know, if it's an hour video, you'd get 30 minutes of a video before the first ad. Which is how TV works anyways. If you ever watch TV from, like, Comcast or whatever, like, person that supplies whatever TV you watch, your movie is 30 minutes long, you get a 15 to 20 minute ad, as in, like, multiple ads that add up to being, like, between 10 to 15 minutes, and then you get 30 minutes of a video again, right? So I'm only basically setting my channel to be kind of like when you watch TV. 1 at the very middle, which would be 30 minutes in, like you would get in TV, And then at the very ending, if it's an hour video, that's another 30 minutes again of my content you watch before an ad, which is how I feel it should be done. 30 minutes, then ad. 30 minutes, then ad. Now, if it's a 2-hour video, there would be more ads because every 30 minutes, kind of like TV. That one would help pay for my slate, help pay for the channel, get stuff out, maybe even be able to afford new stuff to make the channel better, as in when I grow, like better mic, maybe a setup to where I can go to PC, live stream for PC on games like that, so I can broaden my views on games to get even more content for other games out, to where other people play those games, so I get views for those games as well. So not only can my channel grow even more because more views, more subscribers, I would be able to then go and grab, like, I don't know, 2 controllers so I can do content better, to show you guys how to do certain things that might require 2 controllers. Being able to get like the noise cancellation foam to go around like my creator area, or even completely revamp a room to be a complete content room to where I have like my ad stuff in the back, so I can actually like do that, set up a way to receive fan mail and do fan mail videos, and all different stuff, guys. Like, it's something I would love to get into. I just don't have the money to keep growing myself at this point. Onto like when I put my expenses in, like my internet, my electricity, my property taxes, doctor visits if I need to, the food, the drink, all of that going through, especially in summer, my bills go lower because I don't use as much towards my utilities board. I can open my door, so I don't have to run the AC constantly. I can do other things to, kind of keep the house kind of good and filling. Because in the summer, if it gets too cold, I just open the door, right? So I don't have to run an AC, I don't have to run heating and air. I can actually just open the door, let some of the heat come in, close the door. Get a window open if I need to, right? In order to regulate the temperature of my house. Is something that is easily doable by just changing the climate, by opening something instead of having something being powered. So my electricity bill goes lower compared to in the winter where you get to run heating, where you set your thermostat and it kicks on, then it kicks off, then it kicks on, then it kicks off. On top of heating elements, which require power, by the way, and all the stuff for the actual system of heating will run your bill higher. So summer months, your bill's going to be, I don't know, $300-400, and then in the winter it's like $500 to $600, right? And stuff like that. So I got to make sure I got my house covered. And the good thing is I don't have to pay for my house because it's paid off. It's just property taxes. But again, it is also the food I gotta bring in, the tariffs going higher, my internet bill, PlayStation Plus, a dog, since I'm gonna be getting one, because of the fact that I don't want to see it go to the shelter. I want to see it kind of have a life, be able to grow, have fun, and if it gets to the point where I feel I can't take care of the animal, I will find a loving, caring home for it, right? That will not go to a clinic or somewhere that has a chance of putting her down, for the fact of she is a dog with anxiety, and being in a place that creates high anxiety is going to double the anxiety she already has, and it's going to be harder for her to get chosen out. When someone comes through, they're probably not going to look at her. They probably don't want an animal of how she is, because of the anxiety that she already has that is now built up even higher due to the fact of where she would be, making it harder on her to be seen and wanted, meaning she has a higher probability being put down. I hate to say it that way, guys, but when people go to the shelter, they want a dog that runs up to the front of the kennel, that is like, oh, come see me, I want you, come on, yes, yes, come see me. And more than likely, she's going to want to run and hide after being in there for a while. After going through all her checkups and stuff, which is the introductory stuff to get in, which means she probably won't even be adoptable for at least about a month, maybe 2 months, which means she's going to have to be there for a month or two, going on in this high anxiety area, right? That's going to boost her anxiety higher to now she's going to be like some of the videos you see on YouTube where she would be sitting in the back of the kennel away from the doors so people will walk by, maybe try not to bark or, try to be silent so she doesn't get seen, so she doesn't have to feel the anxiety, or maybe she's already feeling anxious and all different stuff, right? That will get her passed by. And I'm not gonna lie, yes, this happens every day. Go to your, like, if you really want to check it out, go to a kennel or anywhere that, is a veterinary office where you go in, you buy a dog, and just ask to kind of sit with animals for a minute, and you will actually see the different behavioral aspects of different animals. Some are better because they get right up there, they bark, they want to be seen, and then you'll see the ones that get tucked into the back, and then you can ask about the ones that get tucked into the back, as in they kind of cower or shy away from the front of the kennel, and you will see where they've been there longer than a lot of other dogs. Other dogs might even have been adopted ones and re-given back, and this one dog has never been seen or adopted, and it's due to the fact of, like, they're anxious with the anxiety that they have, where they sit all the way in the back, they don't bark, they don't do anything, they try to cower and hide or kind of get away from the front, which, yes, works against them on being adopted. And at the end of the day, when a shelter holds a dog like that for too long, no matter what shelter is, even non-kill shelters will have to look at putting the dog down. And that's reality, and it's because of the fact of they can't keep maintaining that animal and bringing in more animals. So once that dog gets to a certain area, they'll go put the dog down to open up an area for another dog to take its spot. That's how every kennel works. Okay? Now, there is places that try to go out and save animals, but for the fact of that, they're not always able to, because then you have to look at the cost of, like, if you have 20 dogs, guys, you have to look at the food, the vet bills, everything that adds up. So unless they have help, everyone can only hold a certain amount of animals before they have to say, well, I can't. Until either I find a home for this one that's taking it, or B, it passes to old age, right? Or, I hate to say it, but got bit by a venomous snake and wasn't able to make it, so now they have a opening for a new pet. And as sad as that is to hear, that's how a lot of places have to work, especially ones that try to save animals. And again, like, expenses is so high. So yeah, that's something that, I didn't really want to have to sit down and talk to about a lot or go completely in depth with, but I do want to kind of get you guys to kind of see, like, when you go to a kennel to go adopt a dog, it's kind of heartbreaking when people just walk right by a dog because they don't check. They want to see the dog that comes up to them is happy and excited. When, I mean, yeah, but no, because every animal should be giving a chance for love. So if you walk by an animal that's shy and cowering in a corner, there's so many things you can do to help any animal, especially if it's not one you directly want immediately. You might be able to help so that way it does find its future person, to be able to adopt it, to find a house for love and care. So when you just go into a kennel, check out every dog, because even if it takes a second for the dog to warm up to you, that might be a bond that lasts forever, to where it loves you forever, you love it forever, and that time that you spent was not wasted. Even if that dog doesn't feel bonded to you and you don't want the dog afterward, you didn't waste your time, because you still gave time that might help that dog get adopted by someone else, to where, yeah, you might have been like, I'm really just not feeling this one. You leave, you go find the next one, and you do that till you find your forever pet, where now you've also helped these other animals, to where if people done that every time, might be able to get that animal's anxiety to be like, hey, you know what, maybe being up here ain't so bad, not everyone is horrible, and help it get adopted, right? Would be kind of a really good way to get into that. Just go around and watch, I forget what his YouTube channel is, but just, like, literally there's a dude that does sitting with dogs, so just type in your YouTube search sitting with dogs, and just take a watch with him. Like sometimes, yeah, it takes like 10 minutes, sometimes in there for 30, but he gets dogs to where they will actually sit, take a treat out of his hand. He can pet them and talk about them, and it's something I feel like everyone should sit down and kind of take a look at, because if you're going to care for an animal, you gotta show that you actually love animals. So be supportive. And that's something that I might look at doing in the future too. And that's going to, when I can afford to be able to get treats and be able to go sit with animals and use the gas to go to shelters, I might do setting with animals and kind of help shelters get animals conditioned in better moods and out of anxiety in order to help them find homes. Being able to go like grab an animal for a day that has high anxiety, be able to sit down with it, get it to where it's used to being around me, get a leash on it, be able to walk it for a bit, get it a car ride to where I can go get it a pup cup and all different stuff, right? To give it a better day, so that way the next person that comes in, they can be like, hey, you know what? The other dude did this for me. Maybe this dude might do the same, and be able to come up to the front of the kennel in order to get adopted, right? Because then the family actually sees it, be able to get to pet it, get to be able to like interact with the animal and fall in love with it, right? Being able to do something like that is actually great, and I feel like everyone that doesn't own an animal that wants one should be in the same mindset, because when you're going in for an animal, yes, you want the animal to like you, to adore you, to be gentle with you as you would be gentle with it, to adore it and like it. But not every animal has the same personality, and that's something people don't always understand, because animals do go through things like trauma, like humans do. If they get an owner that abused it, hit it, kicked it, smacked it with objects, it's going to be anxious. It's going to hide. It's not going to want that human intention at first because it's scared of what humans can do, right? So being able to show that not every human is like that might actually help get that dog adopted. So please, guys, when you're going to shelters, show some care, show some love. Um, and don't just go in and look for the first thing that smacks a cage entrance to be like, hi, how you doing? Because you might actually fall in love with the dog that's a little bit scared. And you got to remember, every dog has its own story. The one smacking the door probably never had a bad kind of interaction with humans. Just the human probably couldn't afford it anymore and kind of had to drop it off, so they're more upfront. As someone who mistreated the dog, left it out in the weather, didn't feed it, kicked it, hit it, that dog's going to be anxious, it's going to be scared, especially with human involvement. So being able to show that dog that not all humans is bad is good. That's something that I feel like you guys should do. And if you have the money, go down, sit with animals, help them get adopted, man. And let's free up some spots for animals that might not be able to, so they won't get euthanized. Euthanize means put down, guys, meaning they're unalived, okay? So they don't have to go through that. They are able to find a loving and caring home, leaving space for people who probably can't afford their animal to put one in, so that way when someone comes along that can afford the animal, we'll be able to get the animal and afford it. So being able to do something like that would be something wonderful and amazing, and I would love to see more people that feel heartfelt and loves animals to sit down and actually give more chances than they actually do. Because no offense, guys, you can say you love animals all day, but when you overlook one animal just to go for the one that rushes you, can you really actually say you love animals at that point? No offense. Because you didn't give a chance to an animal that might have needed it. And if you loved animals, you would give your heart to every one you go by, not just to the one that rushes you. Which is why, I always accept my friends' pets. I will sit down, I'll spend time with their animals. If I'm going somewhere that has animals, I'm always like interacting with their animals. Sometimes I might be a little bit more precautious because again, like I don't know the temperament of every animal I'm coming in like contact with. So I'll try to be not avoiding, but respectful. I'll give it its space. I'll give the animal the space that it feels it may or may not need. And I usually let animals come to me first, so that way they have the chance for being able to like smell me, to be able to understand that I'm not a place for it to feel fear, and maybe have a better interaction. So I'm not always rushing animals immediately because you don't want an animal to get anxious. Because if you make it feel anxious, it feels a little bit of fear, and you're just rushing over like, hi, you have a chance to get bit. That's end of the day. Not every animal's to the point where they can tolerate that high amount of stress and be like, okay, he's not bad. Some animals become fearful, and you get bit out of that fear because you're rushing it, you're making it feel anxious, you're not letting it get comfortable with you first. So being able to walk into a home, see the animal, move on, kind of sit down, talk to your friend or whoever's there, and let the animal come to you. It is the best way to do that because you want to be able to have it hear you. You want it to be able to think. You want it to feel. You want it to be able to walk up closer, not you scaring it, but it to smell you. To be able to get to know you a little bit on the aroma side of things, which is the smell. To get to know you, and then afterwards you can kind of really just hand out food or try to gain a little trust of the animal, and then when you gain some trust of the animal, then pet. That way you have a lower chance of getting bit. And for families that owns dogs, try, like, a lot of people aren't going to follow this, I get it, but if you have pets and you have company coming over and the dog does not know the person, nor have they ever met the person. Or maybe they met them as a puppy, but then took a really long time before they seen them again. Like, like they came over, the dog might have been like 6 months old. And then you go and visit them, you don't take the puppy, or for some reason they moved out of state and they finally came back, like we'll say 6, 8, 12 years later, right? And they're like, hey, well, I haven't seen this person in like 8 years, and goes to pop in, right? Well, that puppy is no longer 6 months. That puppy's now 8 years old, maybe even 8 years and 12 months or whatever, right? So that puppy now is an adult dog who has not seen this person in a while and might feel they are brand new, like they don't know them. Okay, in that circumstance, and even people they don't know directly because they've never met them, when you have company come over, one, don't lock your dog up unless you know like they're gonna go rushing a bite immediately. Then you might want to look at a different route of taking things. But this is for the dog that just gets a little anxious, shy, maybe kind of like cowers away till they get to know the person. The best thing for them to be able to do is when they come through the door, no touch, no talk, no eye contact with the dog. Okay, let the dog have its space. Have them talk to you. You can talk to them about the dog and kind of give them like, things hinting why you're doing the route that you're going, and just a higher chance of making sure they don't get bit, right? You can pop that up. Hey, just so you don't get bit, when you come in, don't talk to my dog, don't touch my dog. Try not to look directly intensely at my dog, like staring at it. Like if you look at it, that's fine. You look over, kind of look away, give it its space. That way you're not looking like a predator to it. And move in, we'll sit down, we'll talk. After some bit, my dog might come up and try to smell you or nudge you or whatever. Let it kind of smell you a little bit. Don't talk to it immediately out the gate. Let it kind of get to know you. And when it starts feeling comfortable, I'll hand you some food a little bit so you can feed it. After you feed it, the first time, just kind of, put the food on the floor, let it eat. Second time, we'll kind of put some food in your hand, let it take some food out of your hand, as long as I know the dog is good with taking food out of hand. And then we'll start looking at, while the food's in the hand, being able to kind of pet it gently, so that way you can actually gain the trust to be able to pet the dog, right? Being able to find routes like that is much easier than allowing someone to be like, oh my god, I love your dog, hi boy, and then getting bit. And that's something a lot of people don't understand, because especially like when you have a dog and you're growing up as a kid and your dog is loving, it's known you, it's really great, it's energetic, you don't get to see that side of that dog, because all you've known is a dog like, hey, come, yeah, let's play, yes. And you haven't seen that anxious side of a dog. And that's the people that go in and want to get really high, and they start like getting that high pitched voice like, oh my darling, that's a wonderful dog, oh, she's so beautiful, right? They start to tend to do that, and that kind of is like, you know, a little scary to the dog, especially high pitched voices. You got to remember, dogs hear better than we do. So something like this loud, we hear how you hear it now. A dog might hear it like this. Okay? So you got to remember, dogs have better hearings. When you get in that high pitched voice, it's like, oh, hold on, what's going on here? Right? Because it had an immediate, like, freaking, if I was to smack my hand in front of the mic and it was loud, you'd be like, oh, what was that? That's how the dogs are. Okay? So when you're doing that and you're rushing up and you're trying to pet them and you're shoving your hand in their face, what else do you expect them to feel? Okay? Because they're not going to immediately feel love if they don't know you. They're going to feel like, who the fuck is this? Why the fuck is he touching me? What the fuck is that loud noise? Right? And they're going to become anxious. And that's how you get bit. So being able to make sure, even if someone owns dogs, to remind them to respect the boundaries of the dog, to limit themselves a little bit, let the dog get to know them and feel comfortable before they make physical contact. And that's the less chance of getting bit aspect that you can take. So as a dog owner, remember to do that. When you introduce your dog, make sure you're removing some of the anxiety out of the situation. There's no chance at fear biting, and anything like that, and kind of let them feel normal about touch and not, what the fuck, right, about it, because that's how you get bit. And that's why I'm saying I will kind of walk in, not ignore the animal, but make it seem like I am, so that way the dog has a chance to kind of see me, get to see how I walk, to see the intentions that I'm bringing to the house, to make sure that I'm not, one, going to be hurting anybody in it. Because if I come in tense, like, yeah, I'm going to beat this motherfucker's ass, the dog's going to feel tense, right? So I want to be able to come in, feel calm, give some respect, let the dog initially have some anxiety, look at me, calm down a little bit, watch me for a second, come and smell me, be able to accept food or treats or something out of my hand, so the dog can then see, like, okay, he wasn't tense, he's a nice person, he's not hurting anyone, and then start to feel some love physically to show that I'm gentle, so I'm not hurting it. There's no, like, I'm grabbing it, I'm not slinging it, I'm not kicking it, I'm not hitting it, I'm just petting, so that way the dog can understand. So if you're visiting someone, also keep that in mind. If they have pets, be respectful to their pet. Trust me, if you want the dog to come to you, you want it to love you, you want it to feel you part of the family when you're there and visiting, respect it at first, and you will get all that. Okay? And that's something people need to understand as well. Not only the dog owner, but people who don't own dogs need to kind of see that, so we can start, like, being more respectful to animals that people own, so we have less chance of getting bit, giving the dog less stress, while also not stressing yourself out, because if you get bit, you're going to be, what the fuck, why did it bite me? A little stressful. And if it's someone you don't know completely, they might try and sue you because your dog bit them. So being able to have less chance of that is better financially for you too, because now you don't have to worry about covering the cost of a dog bite to the other person, or the chance of being sued over being, the other person getting bit. So financially, and also great for the dog that it doesn't bite someone. Be respectful and make sure that people know how to respect your animal too, so that way they can actually have either a good encounter with your animal compared to a bad one. But yeah, I just wanted to make the video for that and be able to help some people. And this is not only helpful in Resident Evil 5, but if you guys want gear, let me know, because you can see everything up here that I have on Sheva right now is, by the way, modded gear. Apart from the vest and the melee vest, which is the bulletproof vest and the melee vest, right? But everything else, like the Molotov cocktail, these eggs, which by the way I can give to myself, but actually technically I can go ahead and do remove right quick, go ahead and give to Chris, Sheva, and remove this because that's the melee vest, and Sheva. Okay. Everything on both inventories right now, apart from the vests, is modified. Okay, as in it will be infinite ammo no matter what. I could go join somebody with infinite ammo off, and it will be infinite. I'll actually show you that, because I'll turn infinite ammo off, and you will see they will both be infinite ammo still. So let's quickly just pop over. So chapter select, we'll do like chapter 1, 2, normal difficulty. I'll play as Chris. And infinite ammo is no, so nothing should be infinite ammo, right? I have it set to invite only, so nobody can join me. Right? It's creating the game session. We're gonna go ahead and ready up. Sorry, guys. Had some hair.
We owe you one.
There we go. But everything is infinite ammo, even though infinite ammo is off. So you can see it is modified gear. Same as I do have the Samurai Edge. The Molotov cocktail is theirs. You can see I can exchange it. She has the Egg Rotten, the grenade launcher you can see is infinite. All this is infinite. Even though I've turned it off completely.
Come on!
Roger.
So I'm just showing you guys that yes, it is infinite ammo stuff with infinite ammo turned off. And you guys are able to get this gear. I will list the steps. I will verbally go through it if you guys add me and you guys want the stuff. You're going to need 2 controllers. Okay, even PS5. I believe you can do a PS5 controller with a PS4. If you guys need to do it that way, because it is just a PS4 game, so you just log in with the your account. Then you have what's called an alt or the guest account, which is where you go through settings and you turn on the guest account, which is basically an alt account. So when you turn on the second controller, you can sign into what's called the guest account, which is a non-PlayStation Plus account, but it allows you to play online and split screen, or you can have a whole nother account. Does not matter which one, you just got to make sure you have 2 controllers and 2 accounts. From there, you just have me join your game with all the gear that you want. I just inventory it, then we both ready up. Right after the game does its saving and checkpoint, which will be at the top left. You'll see with the black outline it says saving game, saving game, saving game, and stop. Whenever it lets you pause the game after that, you will pause the game, you'll go down, and you'll click on the option End Co-op Play, which just kicks me out of the game. Once you do that, you're going to take your second controller that you logged into your alt account with. You're going to press the pause or options button, whatever you call it. I call it pause because I'm old as fuck. Well, I'm not old, but you guys get the point. I come from like GameCube and stuff like that, where the button was called a pause button, not an options button. But you're going to click the pause button, okay? Like you're going to pause a game on controller 2. It's going to launch you into split screen. From split screen, okay, you're going to get the, hold on, I'll show you guys right here, physically. Okay, you're going to get this screen where it says organized, by, and ready, but it's going to be on both sides. So you're not going to see Chris, you're not going to see Sheva. It's going to show this organized screen on both sides of your screen, because in split screen, they also can go to organized, by, and ready. Once that happens, you both are going to immediately, okay, you're not going to click organize, you're not going to click buy on none of the controllers. Both controllers immediately go down, click on ready. You're going to get this on both sides, and then you're going to click yes for both sides, which is called immediately readying up. You're going to get launched back into the game. You're going to see that same saving game, saving game, saving game pop up at the top left. When it's done, give it a second, and then on controller 1, which is your main account, you're going to press pause. You're going to go down, and you're going to click the option called restart. What this is actually, it should say restart from checkpoint, but it basically restarts you back at the last checkpoint you have. But before it does that, it brings you back to where you can go and organize your gear, because they made it where in case like you accidentally forgot something, you can click on it, go back into this screen to go change or edit or add something you missed or remove something you don't need, right, that you didn't mean to bring. They gave you that option. It's called restart. So when you click on that, it's going to bring this screen back up, which is this one here. On controller 2, the one you're removing the items from, you're going to go up to organize, you're going to click X. You're going to see the inventories like this. Now, if you were playing as Chris, they were Sheva, which by the way, controller 2 would be Sheva, which is your alt, right, that you're clicking to organize on after the second time of being in that screen. You will see their inventory with the items that I had or any other player you're taking the items from. You will go up, you will click on the item, and you will click the remove option for every item you want. Which means if you don't want the vest because you already have them, you don't need them, don't worry about the vest. You will just skip the vest. You'll go over and be like, okay, I want the landmine removed. I want the modded pistol removed. I want the grenade removed. Grenade removed. Grenade removed, right? And then you would come over and go, I want the Molotov cocktail removed. I want the rotten eggs removed. I want the modded launcher removed. And then you both, on that controller, go back to this screen, the organized by and ready. And then on both controllers, go down to ready, click ready, and then click yes. You're going to get back into the game again. It's going to do this saving game, saving game, saving game at the top left. As soon as that's done, on controller 1, your main account that you want the gear on, pause the game, go down. You're now going to hit quit, not restart, not kick player. You're actually going to click quit this time, and you're going to say yes. You're going to get a screen that pops up in front of you. Do you want to override your inventory? It's going to say X for yes, circle for no. You're going to click yes. On PlayStation, I think is X. So you'll click X, which will say yes. Okay? And it's going to save your game again, right in front of you. And it's going to take you back to, hold on, this screen here. Okay, you're going to click play game. And to make sure you've done it right, go down to item management. You're going to go into organize. You're going to go down. And then the modded items should be in this inventory section at the bottom that you see me scroll wheeling through. Okay, it should be at the top or somewhere in it. And yes, your items will say 32,767 on the ammo. Like if I do this, you got, well, actually it won't. It'll show no ammo counter and just say Samurai Edge. And the way you can tell it apart from the other weapon, you can see here, the Samurai Edge looks just like the M92F visually. The only difference is, see on the M92F where it says 100, right there in green numbers, the M92F will have that 100. Your modded gear will say Samurai Edge. Another way you know you have the modded gear is if you go to treasures by pressing R2 and you bring this screen up. When you go back with L2, your modded weapon will look like that very first treasure slot, as you can see. That's the same with every modded weapon except for the AK. The AK for some reason actually shows that. But any of them like the PX4 here, if I remove it, you can see the PX4 now took the image of this gun because that was the last one in that slot. If I go over and I do R2 and I come back, now it looks like these two treasures from the actual treasure tab. Okay, so they will take the image of the last item that was in that spot. So this one's the one the PX4 went to Sheva. This one's the one that was in Chris. And you can see a pistol was the last thing in that slot. It does the same thing in your inventory. If I was to take the M9 3R and go Sheva, and then remove it, and then I go to that modded weapon and I go Sheva. Now it looks like the M93R. Okay, it will take the image of that. The only ones it won't is like the RPG, this H&K PSG1, and the AK. So if I remove these right quick, you will see here's the H&K. Looks just like the regular one. So if I go back and I crisp that, put it back in the middle. The AK, you can see here, looks just like the AK. It didn't take the image of any other thing. If I do that, I go ahead and crisp that. And the RPG did not take another image of another weapon, right? Ones like that will not take the image. But to show you this in more detail, it also does it if you swap things around in your inventory. Like if I was to take the Molotov cocktail and switch it with the incendiary grenade, now it looks like I have an incendiary grenade with 88 incendiary grenades here. Okay? Same with like, okay, if I wanted to swap it with a grenade launcher, I could go like this, swap it with a grenade launcher. Well, now it looks like I have a grenade launcher with 12 rounds, and then the Molotov with, looks like a grenade launcher with no rounds, right? So, you got to remember the modded gear will do that. Alright, but you'll notice the modded gear will not have a number, right, that will be the same as the other one. So for instance, 12 rounds, that does not say 12 rounds, right? Or the number will be so large that it seems like the weapon shouldn't hold it at all. For instance, like the highest ammo capacity is, I think, 300. As you can see there, yeah, it's 300, which is the VZ61. If I had a modded VZ61 instead of 300, it would be 32,767, or it would look like this, the HK PSG1 right here that I'm hovering over, where it shows no ammo. So you'll see a blank thing there. Now, when it's not equipped, for instance, if I do this and I remove this again, you'll see here's the M92F with 100 rounds. Here's the M92F with nothing there, because actually this is not the M92F, this is the Samurai Edge. It's the modded pistol. So it will not have that 100 next to it. And when inventoried, it will say 32,767. Okay? So it's easy to understand exactly which item you do have. Now, I am going to go through here and fix this, though, to where I have this. Sheva can keep all of that. She can keep that. She can keep that. She can keep these. What I will do is remove this and give Sheva one of these. And I do want her to have a gun. And because I do have infinite ammo for every weapon, I'll show you guys that here in a second. What I am going to do is go ahead and go Sheva. You get the 3-round burst pistol. Okay? Super simple and easy. Yeah, that's 100% perfect. Alright, so she gets that, and we're just going to ready up in yes. Okay, and I do have everything in game. If I quickly go to bonus features, you will see I have 0 exchange points, and everything is purchased. Okay, that includes from the S&W M500 here, up to the M92F is unlimited ammo. Okay? So every weapon is infinite ammo. And to prove that, I can go to special settings, we can go to infinite ammo, and you will see every gun there is whited. There's nothing crossing it out. I have infinite ammo on every weapon in the game, okay? I own every filter, okay? I own every costume for both Chris and Sheva. Just figured I'd show that, guys, okay? So, yes. But yeah, if you guys are looking to get the items, I showed you guys how they look, went over everything, and I went over how to get it. So if you guys want it, hit me up. Okay? Drop me in the comment your PSN and what items you want. And that's what the items I do have, which, by the way, is going to be the S&W M500, the H&K PSG-1, the AK-74, the rocket launcher, Samurai Edge, Golden Egg, or Egg Gold, you can call it either. It's just basically the Golden Egg, PX4, the Molotov Cocktail, the Grenade Launcher, Incendiary, Flash, and Hand Grenades, the Proximity Bomb, the M93R hand... Oh, no, actually, that's not. Never mind the M93R. Scratch that. That's not modified. I wish it was, but it's not. Okay? So, the Proximity Bomb, the Hand Grenade, the Flash Grenade, the Incendiary Grenade, the Grenade Launcher, Golden Egg, Molotov Cocktail, Samurai Edge, PX4, AK-74, H&K PSG-1, Rocket Launcher, and the S&W M500 is modified. Any of those, I can get you. And all you have to do is duplicate it. And the way that I'm going to go about doing it, instead of being like, oh, here, take an egg, right? For you guys, I'm going to do it the better way, so that way you're able to max your money, as you can see at the top there on the shop. And that is duplicating. So you're going to need 2 controllers, 2 accounts on PlayStation. Make sure you have that, and you'll be set. All you have to do is drop again in the comments exactly what you want and your PlayStation gamer tag. That way I can, 1, add you as a friend, 2, get you into the lobby by adding you as a friend, give you the stuff by letting you duplicate it, and then I'm off to the next person. Right? But again, just let me know. Hope you guys liked and enjoyed the stream today, and until next time, love you.